NewsNation legal contributor and attorney Jesse Weber. He's also the anchor at the Law and Crime Network. Hey, good to see you on this Friday. Okay, we'll get to Biden, Hunter Biden in a moment, and a pardon or no pardon. But let's talk about these new charges against the former president. You know, my son, who's 14, plays this virtual reality game where these discs are coming at you and you have a lightsaber and you just keep trying to slice the discs that are headed in your way. I mean, it feels like that with these charges for the former president, right? We've got several indictments. We're dealing with a potential third indictment, and the charges keep piling on. How significant is this development?
Well, to compare it to the game, it's coming at him from every single direction. And, you know, this is significant. It's significant for a number of different reasons. As you mentioned, it's another charge that he's going to have to defend himself against. But what makes this really important is it very much seems like the prosecution has a cooperating witness who is going to attest to this fact. So when you read this superseding indictment, they're talking about this unnamed Mar-a-Lago employee who appears to be a technology officer who is going to attest to the fact that he was told by Trump's now co-defendant, Mr. Oliveira, to delete the tapes. And that is important testimony because it directly places Trump in the crossfire of what we've already suspected, that perhaps he was instrumental in trying to get those tapes deleted. And that's some of the most direct evidence we've seen against the former president. So this is a major development and a major headache for him in a case that was, in my opinion, particularly strong. It just got stronger.
Okay. And in his defense, the Trump team is denying any wrongdoing, as you would expect, saying nothing more than a continued desperate and flailing attempt by the Biden crime family and their Department of Justice to harass President Trump and those around him. What's the play here for his defense team?
That's a political argument, right? So that's the political defense. The legal defense is they're going to try to attack this indictment from every way and try to make sure that none of that evidence comes in. Now, I just mentioned this cooperating witness about what he was told about what Trump said. They'll try to argue it's hearsay. My opinion is, if there's an exception to that, they're going to try to say, and their weakest legal argument, and they keep coming forward with it. I don't know if it's a political argument, but they keep saying, well, the president had the right to these documents. That's not the question. The question is, did he have the right to willfully retain them, to not hand them back over? This is not a question of just merely having documents. It's the question of why were they not turned over? And what was there an effort to obstruct the investigation? That's the part where I haven't really heard a good answer from Trump's team, but it's still early in the case. We will see what they mount. And ultimately, they're going to try to strike at the credibility of any witness who testifies against them.
Well, and the other legal saucer that's coming from a different direction is this possible new indictment. So special counsel Jack Smith asking the special grand jury to approve criminal charges tied to January 6th. I mean, these are some pretty big allegations: defrauding the U.S., obstruction of an official proceeding. Big picture here, is this much more problematic, this potential indictment, when and if it comes down?
I would say that and the documents investigation. We also can't forget Georgia as well. In my mind, those are the three most problematic for the former president. Now, if he's hit with this new indictment regarding January 6th, it'll be a question of when that trial will be. It seems right now most of his trials are being pushed off until the spring of 2024. I think it's significant. I'm going to be very interested to see what this indictment says, because when, we looked at the target letter and there's an idea of deprivation of rights and defrauding the United States, I want to see how prosecutors tie it back to Trump and who was the victim in all of this. It might be a creative way that they charge him, because I will tell you, we've never seen a former president charged, and we've never seen a former president accused of what he's accused of. So I'm very curious to see the way they charge him and the way they support it. And let's move from there, because right now we have ideas about what he's going to be charged with, but I actually want to see it.
Yeah, a lot of firsts here. Hey, I promised we'd talk about Hunter Biden. We have about a minute left to do so. So the reporter says, from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility the president pardons his son? The answer from the White House: no. Any surprise here? What do you expect, as the judge has given the attorneys 30 days or so to come up with some new legal briefs?
Okay, it's very easy to say you're not going to pardon your son right now. The charges he's facing, relatively minor offenses. Are we going to have that same conversation later on, after what we heard this week, that they are continuing to investigate Hunter Biden for potentially more serious charges? I'd like to see Karine Jean-Pierre ask that question if Hunter Biden faces money laundering or FARA violations, because right now it's easy to say the president won't get involved, but the situation gets worse for Hunter Biden. Let's see then.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.